Hey, Zach Crawford here, and I'm creating a new series now on my channel basically on how to start a profitable blog. And the first video I'm starting it off with is how to find a blogging niche. So what we're going to cover in this specific video, and we're going to go deeper into each section, over the next few days on the channel. Basically, we're going to cover how to become an expert in any niche, even if you're brand new and have no experience. So regardless of what popular belief, tells us, you do not need to be an expert to get started. I'm really going to point that out. It doesn't matter what niche industry you want to go into, regardless if it's crazy amounts of competition, you can come in and become an expert. Number two is the 3 evergreen markets that are massively profitable. So what we're going to talk about is the 3 markets I suggest that you stay in. These are the ones that are insanely profitable. Now, with that being said, it doesn't just mean that it's just 3 markets. Like there's literally thousands of categories under each 3. These are big, broad markets, and you want to come down a level in order to find your actual niche. Number 3 is how passion and hobby niches can make you a crap ton of money. So basically, these are niches that are very valuable. Think golf, sewing, and quilting. These are things where people don't use actual logic. They use emotion when they buy things. They get whatever they want, and they don't back it up by like, I really need this. It's just they want it. Number 4 is the one thing you want to focus on if you want to make $100,000 a year or better with a blog. This is the one thing that took my income from like little peddly commissions here and there to like a rocket ship. Once you learn this can change the game for you. Now, I want to touch on really quick. I'm going to link below in the description this actual blog post. I'm obviously just summarizing what I wrote here. So if you want to go through step by step, you can find that link in the description, as well as my step-by-step training that I put together that's going to teach you how to start a profitable blog as well. Now, with that being said, before we jump in, I want to touch on really quick. If you're brand new to the channel, this is the first time you come across me, make sure you go below, smash that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you get notified when I drop new videos, and finally comment below and let me know what your biggest takeaway was from this. Every single day I pick the best comment on my video and I give away one of my $1,000 courses completely for free. Now, with that being said, let's jump in and go through this, right? So first thing I want to do is I want to touch on what is a niche, because I understand that not everybody, especially if you're just getting into creating a website, you may not understand this whole niche talk. It might be science talk to you. So basically all a niche is, it's just a small pocket of people that are highly interested in something. An example is a niche could be like photography, right? People that are interested in photography, like they want to learn everything they can to become a better photographer. They're looking for camera reviews. They're looking for courses to learn how to actually shoot pictures and do Photoshop to edit their pictures. That's just an example. Now, what I want to talk about first, before I really suggest what niches to do and how to pick them, is really the big mistakes that I've made and I've seen, people that I've worked with over the years. So number 1 is mentally masturbating over which niche to start. Now, I know it's a little graphic, but here's the thing. Most people are getting ready to get ready. And I'm not saying this like if you're one of those people to put you down. I'm trying to help you understand that like the people that are most successful, not just in blogging, but like in business in general, they know how to make decisions fast and act. Like they don't sit around and think about it and fantasize about it. And I've literally seen people like that I've worked with over the years, even people that got direct coaching with me, where like it takes them like 3 to 6 months to even do the first step. And it doesn't take that long. They're doing what I call getting ready to get ready. And what they're doing is they're trying to prepare for this perfect moment that never exists. They think like if they just get another piece of information, if they watch another video, they buy another course, they, whatever it be, they're waiting for this perfect moment to really start their business, or in this case, start a blog. And there's never going to be a right moment. So my point is that money loves speed. So what you want to do is you want to be decisive. Now, with that being said, I don't suggest you just go pick any niche and jump into it, because you want to make sure it's profitable. You want to make sure it's something you can see yourself doing long term. But at the same time, it doesn't even take 30 days. Like literally you could do this in a day if you sat down and went through the process. Now, number 2 is picking a niche just because of the money. So one of the biggest mistakes I made when I first started was thinking short-term and not long-term. And one of the things I always teach now and try to help people avoid the mistakes that I did is to have like a vision for your success. Have a vision for your future, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years from now, and not just focusing on money. Because what I can tell you is money will not make you happy. Money will improve your life. It will make things easier. It definitely does. I mean, example, you probably can see this video quality is really great. Years ago, I dreamed of having an amazing camera because I love video. I dreamed of having a podcasting mic so my audio was good. These things improve my business. It makes things like easier, or I should say better quality, but it didn't like make me happy. And so one of the things I want to touch on is that you really want to pick a niche you can see yourself being in for the long term. You want to pick a niche that you just like the idea of. It doesn't mean you need to be an expert yet. We're going to talk about that later. But I mean, picking something you can see yourself sticking with consistently over a long period of time, because that's what success is about. Success is not something you just bam and you wake up and you make money overnight. Like, people that teach that stuff, they're just complete bullshit artists. So understand that success is something you do consistently, daily, over a long period of time, and it builds up momentum, and then success happens, right? So you want to pick a niche that you can see yourself like just sticking with, and not just because it's profitable. You don't want to just go into a niche just because somebody says it's the most profitable niche. Like, I've literally been in over 200 different niches. Like, I've launched a bajillion sites. So I think it was roughly 150 niches, and I'd built over 200 sites, multiple different sites in some of the niches. And a lot of them, even though I was making money, I just didn't have the passion. After I started making money, it was boring. Like, I couldn't get myself to write. I couldn't get myself to create videos. I definitely didn't want to start a podcast or anything like that. The passion wasn't there. So you want to pick something you can see yourself being with for the long term. Obviously, you want to go through the metrics I'm going to teach you to pick a profitable niche, but at the end of the day, I don't care how much money you can make in it. If you're not into it, it's just not going to happen. It's going to be a struggle. It's going to be like pulling teeth. Now, number 3 is really trying to go into what I call micro niches and basically fearing competition. Like, I see this all the time. People want to go into micro niches, and a lot of people teach this stuff out there. And this is why when I told you I had 200 different websites, I followed people that taught about micro niches, and I think it's horrible advice. When you go into a micro niche, basically what you're doing is going into a little small pocket of people, and like it's just not expandable. It's not scalable. You're going to be literally spinning your wheels trying to increase your income, even if you're the top dog in the actual niche. You want to go into big niches. I'm talking where there's millions of people, hundreds of thousands of people. There's tons of products being sold, because if you're going into a little baby niche, like, there's no money to be made. There's a reason that the big dogs are in the big niches, the big 3 I'm going to talk about here in a minute, and it's because that's where all the money's at. And there's literally thousands of niches in each one of those categories that you can go into and still carve out your own little space, right? But if you go into these little micro niches, it's going to be painful. Like, it's going to suck even when you become the top person, because you can't expand. So don't fear competition. Competition is where you want to be. Now, I want to point out something that I think a lot of people make the mistake of doing, and that's thinking that they need to be an expert, right? So I'm going to scroll down here and just bear with me. But what I learned a long time ago is from Russell Brunson. And in this book I talk about all the time. It's not on my desk at the moment, but I talk about the book all the time. It's just called Expert Secrets. And I heard him talk about this well before I ever seen him publish the book. Like, I've been following him for years, right? And he always tells this story about Frank Abagnale from or I think it's Abagnale from the movie Catch Me If You Can. It's played by Leonardo DiCaprio, right? And basically what Frank does is he's a criminal, and he's running from the FBI. And at one point, he's up in front of the class teaching a college class, right? Because the professor didn't show up. Later, when the actual FBI called him, they said, "Frank, how did you teach the class?" He goes, "Easy. I was just one chapter ahead in the book." And that was Russell's whole point, is that you can go into any niche you want to be. It doesn't matter. All you have to do is literally be willing to immerse yourself into it, to get more knowledgeable, to learn the facts so you can share things with people, and you can go into it. So one of the things I want to point out here, and you're going to maybe find this meme either offensive or funny, is basically tell people screw you that tell you can't go into a specific niche. You know, one of the biggest pet peeves I have, and it's the irony of it, where people say you can't go into the make money online niche, for example, or you can't go into the weight loss niche because you don't have certifications. Like, screw these people. They're literally selling make money online programs and telling you, therefore, you can't go into make money online programs. Or you can't go into a make money online niche. I find it like amusing, right? Here's the thing. If you went into the make money online niche, and I'm only using this because I see this all the time. I also see it in the fitness space. I have a lot of clients that are in the fitness niche, and people try to tell people they're not qualified to give advice because they don't have all these certifications, yet they have better bodies than even the person that's giving the advice. So the thing is that at the end of the day, you are the one that has to give yourself permission to be an expert. That's it. Like, if you look, like you see, like right here, I have it. Who do you think gives people permission to become an expert? It's themselves. Nobody gives them a qualification, says, you know what, you finally got enough information. Okay, now you can teach about this. You have to give yourself permission to play big and go into whatever niche you want. So if somebody is telling you you can't go into a specific niche, follow the money. Usually they have some type of motive in order to tell you that. So what I can tell you, say example, you wanted to go into make money online niche, but you're like, well, I don't make money. I don't want to be unethical. Here's what you do. You don't lie. You don't cheat. You don't tell people you're you're making money online. You don't pretend to be an expert like before you are. When I went into the make money online niche, yes, I was already making money in other niches, but those other niches sucked. I hated them. I didn't like them like I love marketing, right? So when I went into the make money online niche, I never said I made money before I did. I literally just documented my process. I'd learn something and I would share it. And people were like, oh, this is so awesome. And then they would buy products from me. But I didn't say that I knew how to do these things. I would recommend the products, or I'd say, hey, here's the source where you want to go learn. And then I got an affiliate kickback by recommending those. I never claimed to be an expert before I guess you could call me an expert, right? That's where it gets unethical. When people try to lie and say they're making like $1,000 a day and they don't even know how to make $1, that's where things become kind of sketchy. However, if you're documenting your process and you just love marketing, you love the whole idea of making money online, and you could see yourself possibly getting into different business models, start documenting your process now, and then it can take you down a road that, it's just unlimited. You can be documenting your process and all these different businesses you're doing, and that's exactly how I got started. So my point here is, when somebody tells you you can't be an expert because you don't have qualifications or whatever it be, tell them to screw off, because at the end of the day, they have an ulterior motive and they don't want competition. The more people that don't go into their niche is better, because then they don't have any competition to worry about. All right, so the three most profitable niches are health, wealth, and relationships. So basically anything, obviously, like health categories, I mean, there's tons of things, like everything from diabetes to, that would be like weight loss. Then we got wealth. That's everything from like, say, make money online, affiliate marketing, Shopify, Amazon FBA, penny stocks, cryptocurrency. You see, there's all these different little categories in each one. If we go into, say, something like relationships, right? It's like getting your ex back, how to fix your marriage, how to get a date. I mean, there's so many different niches if you go research. And if you're trying to figure out like, well, I don't really know which one to go into those, literally go to clickbank.com and just start looking at some of the products. Like all those top level categories on clickbank.com, you'll see subcategories in those that you can go into. So the reason I like these niches is because we're hardwired. Our brain cannot fight this. We can't fight the ability to want to make more money. Regardless, even if money is not our main motive in life, like, at the end of the day, you got to pay the bills, right? Like people that say they don't care about money, those are the same people that are bitching, complaining they can't pay their bills, or they need more money at the end of the month. So we're hardwired that we need money, right? Now, with like health, come on, we can't fight the ability. Like, for instance, right now, if the doctor told you that you had cancer and your chances are pretty low at living, say another year, would you be motivated by trying to seek out like a doctor or a specialist to try to figure out how you can beat those odds? Or if you come down with diabetes, would you not seek out information in order to try to figure out how to improve your health? Like when you have these type of niches, you just can't fight them. So same thing for dating and relationships, right? We cannot fight the ability to want a mate. It's just how we're hardwired. So these niches, people don't use logic during their purchases. Like one of the things I look for when I'm going into a niche is people are emotionally charged. When people buy off of logic, it's very hard to sell them. Like if they're very analytical, everything has to be all down on a spreadsheet, those kind of customers are going to be very hard to sell to, because you cannot beat them with your logic for the most part. It's going to take a lot of work. When people are emotionally charged, they buy because they want something, not because it's a logical purchase. And people that are into emotional buying, they buy again, they buy again, they buy again. So these three categories, almost anything, you can guarantee they're going to keep buying them. I heard a stat recently in the health niche, right, for weight loss for women specifically. The average woman goes through 8 different weight loss programs per year, meaning they start one, they stop, they start one, they stop, but they can't fight that need to try to get in better shape, to feel better about themselves, because it affects them emotionally. Like if you think about it, if you're overweight, you can say, I don't care what people think about me. But at the end of the day, when you look in the mirror, you feel horrible. It affects your confidence. It affects your energy levels. It affects the quality of your life, possibly in your relationship. Or if you don't have a relationship, then you feel bad about yourself that you're never going to be able to find a mate. These type of niches are very, very profitable because people buy multiple things. A perfect example of this is like, say, in the bodybuilding niche. I'm really passionate about weight loss, and bodybuilding. I've been doing it on and off for years. Honestly, I've got out of shape and got back in shape. But when I'm really into bodybuilding, like now, where I stick with it, I buy everything from supplements. Like I bought recently, it was about 6 months ago, I bought a weightlifting belt that was like $140. It's where it like supports your back. I bought wrist straps that go around my wrist that are like $65. I buy supplements every single month. When you are passionate about something, you just keep buying. And so that's what you want to look for when you're picking a niche, is that there's repeat buyers, because that's what a real business is built upon. Now, the next thing I want to touch on is hobby niches and why they're massively profitable. So I talked a little bit earlier about, how you can make a crap ton of money with them, right? But when you're looking to find a niche for a blog, you want to think about, things that people are emotionally driven, just like we talked about a minute ago with those big three, right? A perfect example I like to use all the time is quilting, because my mother's into it. She's been doing it for 15 to 20 years, probably longer than that. And she literally probably has at least $10,000 of fabric that she's bought that she hasn't even touched. Yet every single month she goes to a store, like a quilting store locally, and buys more. And then she buys expensive sewing machines. They're like a couple $1,000s. She goes to quilting events, like live events where all the people gather that I don't really know the quilting niche, obviously. But basically they showcase their quilts and different accessories you can buy. She buys these cutting wheel things. And one time she bought this mat you lay out that measures the quilts so you can cut them. It was like $100. You want to look for things like this. When somebody has a hobby, they don't justify it. So example, the camera that is actually shooting me right now is probably the setup just with the lens and that, we're looking at roughly $3,500. There's 2 or 3 more lenses for that camera over there. I have this camera right here with this lens. You're looking at around $1,500. There's another lens over there with $1,000. I have another camera right here, which is basically $700, and that's not all of them. I got more cameras than that. And so you see my point here. What I'm trying to make the point is that when somebody has a hobby that they care about, they don't justify things by cost. They buy it because they want it. And that's the kind of niche you want to be in. Somewhere where people are buying consistently, repeatedly, and they stay in the niche for a long period of time. That's where you make your money. So the final thing I want to talk about is, the one thing I talked about, if you want to get, the one thing to get to $100,000 a year is looking to sell big ticket products. Now, big ticket, understand, that can be different. For me, when I first come online, I never could imagine people spending $500. Honestly, I never spent $500 on a digital product or even really many physical products when I first got into business. And I definitely couldn't imagine them spending $1,000 or $10,000 or $25,000. And now at this point in time, for me specifically, I've spent close to $200,000, between $150,000 to $200,000 on marketing knowledge, everything from coaches, thousands and thousands of dollars in courses, learning. I've went to several events. The last event I went to, it was like $2,000 for the two of us. That's not accounting, food and travel and everything like that. I went to several events, and now I'm actually looking into getting into a coaching program that's like $50,000 a year. So I'm not saying that it's just about the make money online niche, right? It's going to be subjective based on the niche you're in. Big ticket could be, I don't know, it could be $100 in your niche. It could be $200. It could be $500. But different niches in those big three that I told you, you can almost find big ticket to at least $1,000 minimum in every single one of those niches. So here's the numbers. When you sell products, right? If you sold a $10 product, which a lot of people are selling cheap stuff in a lot of niches. This is why I don't like Amazon. I'm always talking about how, especially for affiliate marketers, Amazon is horrible because you get little peddly commissions. You'd have to sell 10,000 people a $10 product a year to make $100,000. That's a lot. I mean, you got to have tons of traffic to do this. You only have to sell 1,000 people a $100 product. We're getting a little bit better, right? We sell 100 people a $1,000 product. That's like the sweet spot. Just imagine, could you see yourself over a course of a year recommending to the people that are following you in your niche if you had a $1,000 product that you're selling yourself, or you're recommending like an affiliate product? I hope the answer is yes, because it's very easy compared to selling the $10 products. It's honestly, in my opinion, it's 100 times easier than selling the 1,000 people $100 products. There's a reason that most of the stuff I sell is more expensive. I do sell things that are in the $100 range, the $50 range, and that's really just because of the fact that my audience needs it, but it's not something that I focus on. If you want to make big money, right, you got to find bigger ticket products. So as I said, that could be $500, could be $200. But what you want to do is you really want to look for things that are more expensive. That's really going to help you to skyrocket your income. If you want to make $100,000 a year, it's going to be way easier to sell big ticket. So with that being said, that's the first day's video. That's the first series, or I should say the first video in this series for this week. And with that being said, if you enjoyed this, please make sure to smash that like button. That helps me to reach more people. And finally, if you want to go more in detail, you want to learn the step-by-step of this, I'm going to link the blog post below, as well as the actual step-by-step training that takes you over about a 6 to 7 day period where I dive deep into all this stuff in more and more detail. With that being said, I will see you in tomorrow's video.